Gold looks like it's trying to get moving, but not yet. Folks are definitely positioning bearish on gold, still GLD, with a lot of sold puts. And I wanted to show that to you real quick because I think it's very cool. And yes, I'm still waiting for this final product release, which should be in the next few days, Tuesday, Wednesday, where they're fixing a few things. Like, for example, it shouldn't say premium paid because, right, you collect, it's, you can sell, buy, paid, collect. Anyway, the point is little tweaks like that. But the point I want to show you, and also member benefit has to be wrapped in, and the AI prompting has to be wrapped in. But the point I wanted to show you was there's still massive bearish bets coming in. And this was GLD, for example, post FOMC. I just highlighted the top 10 trades of size, meaning premium. That's almost 50 million. And relevance, meaning they're really large size. These were placed after FOMC or on the day of FOMC, and they're bearish bets. But if you go into the next level, option teller, again, I'm highlighting, of what are they doing on puts sold, calls sold, all that stuff. In other words, premiums they're collecting. And they have a lot of bullish bets. Why? Because we're really, really expensive as it relates to gold. The gold skew is very, very steep. The put richness is very, very juicy. So these are patient bulls. And that's what I look for when I'm looking for a turn in a particular sector rotation. In the same way we got way too elevated back in January, and I warned on the 22nd before we had the big crash on the 28th and 29th. Well, now they're still buying for sure, bearish positioning because it is. Dollar is still bullish in my opinion, even though we're having a little softness right now. But they're also willing to position out in time and kind of make a bet, premium, sell those puts, collect that premium and wait and basically acquire it at lower levels, that type of mindset. Anyway, it looks like they're trying to come in, but for right now, I still don't see a great opportunity there, except patience. And that's what they're practicing. Micron earnings, as good as it gets. They were stunning. They were beautiful. They were amazing. But it needed to come inside and break 1213.56 to get any short going. It did. This is earnings on Micron. And then it followed through beautifully on Friday. Earnings were Wednesday night. This is the Thursday candle. And then it absolutely came right into my exact price target of 1083.32. So even if you weren't in any way, shape, or form positioned before earnings, you didn't need to be. Everybody was long. It was as good as it gets. All we did was fill this gap, but it's a beautiful little chase short. Now let's see if we can get it going some more. Why? Because if we stay over here on a weekly below 1132, let's just call it 1133 because it's almost with change. I said we have to open below and stay below. Then it becomes an evening star reversal and we're going to head down to 1010. So right now we're 1091. We're going to go 1090. We're going to go down to 1010. Good little continuation chases. You know we have to break 1083. Micron as good as it gets. Come on down. Perfect. Breaks inside. It fills the gap. And now I'm very focused, as you know, on that level on a weekly for you who are chase short, that it can turn into something a little bit more substantive, which means if then Micron stays inside this 1132, which I gave you, it's going to break 1055. 981 is your price target with an overshoot to 911 and then 780. Are we going to go from, let's call it 1080 to 780? Maybe, but let's go level by level first. So that's why I zoom to the daily and then out to the weekly. And that's how I look at it. We can have mini bounces in between, but right now that's what I got. All right. I also want to show you XLE is starting to get a little bullish. I went in to take a look, capture some option flow. This whole month of June, in fact, if I just sort by premium, we've got 5 million, 3 million, 2.6 million, 2 million, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, they have been coming in as price has been selling off in XLE. And then this is, of course, calls or puts bought tied to the underlying, which shows some hedging activity for sure, but it's still very large size, kind of betting on potential escalation and or strong earnings coming into July, et cetera. And then I looked for VLO because Brian sent me the crack spread, which is very strong, very strong. The crack spread is very good for their margins, for refiner margins. So as it relates to Valaro, those who are still in it or looking to kind of, what's the option market say? Also, 3.4 million calls bought. This is month of June. they're very satisfied, let's put it that way, with their bullish bets in refiners. There's a lot more bullish bets in Valaro. Again, sorted by premium paid institutions, not at all the retail crowd. Bullish all the way down. You get one little bearish bet, which is with smaller premium paid, not the millions, but the 162,000. Anyway, XLE looks like it's still stabilized after this pull down in price of oil. And then we've got Valaro that's definitely staying in play. Micron had a huge print. I just wanted to kind of show this. This came in on the earnings. Micron was right here. That was the 25th. This is the 26th. Now, right now, price is fading and it's a great short chase. But big picture, a big, huge print came in on the 26th. So post earnings, and it's for October. And it was when price was basically $1,183. They did a risk reversal of size. So that risk reversal kind of tilts towards bullish because it indicates that they probably have the underlying and a large amount of the underlying. So they have an October print with 116 million spent in a risk reversal. This is 61 million that had come in before earnings was bullish. You can see why when I said everyone's long, another 61 million a few days later, also bullish. This came in 56 million after earnings. Again, this is for December of 2027, but the prints still push the scale on the bullish side for Micron, big picture by big institutions that are also spending money to protect their underlying. So this is puts bought against a big position that's tied to underlying. They spent 36 million. So this is where I'm looking to say, okay, folks are still long. They're still long. They're just protecting. That's Micron. That was Valaro. That was XLE. I've already gone over GLD. They're still bearish, but they're also harvesting those rich premiums and selling puts for mostly July and September timeframe to wait. They're not afraid to theta decay in those sold puts because that's one way to play the odds. Start your free trial today at option-teller.io.